So we have this like interactive art display up on campus that I see every day on my way into class.
Can users like affect it?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like that is just an awful idea.
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely is. That's why I'm telling the story. Um, and so like what it basically is, it's like this two-sided like wall of bottles basically,
Mm-hmm.
where like it's supposed to represent like I don't know, littering or some shit.
Recycle,
If you
reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, basically. And so like the bottles are colored so that like on one side they're one or like on one half they're one color and on the other half they're another color. So you could like users are supposed to like people are supposed to come up and like turn the bottles, like twist them a little bit to like write messages in this wall, basically.
Penis.
Um,
Was
that is where this is going. Yes, was today I was walking in onto campus and I was looking at the wall and I'm like, that's not
it?
words. And I got closer. I was like, I still don't understand what this is. And then I finally like was looking at it straight on because like I come onto the wall at like an angle. So it wasn't until I was like full on looking directly at it that I was like, oh, it's a giant penis. Now I understand. But the entire time I was walking up, I'm like, it's a D and it's
It's like
and
a
I just couldn't
D,
like put it.
like an 8 somewhere.
Yeah, I was like trying to put it together. I'm like, I don't. What am I look? Oh, it's a dick. Now I see. Yeah, there was just a big fucking honking dick in the middle of the wall. It was very. I was not prepared to look at that. Basically.
Yeah, interactive shit will always. If something's interactive or if people can do something with like some art display, there's gonna be a penis at it at some point.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, they had to have expected that this was going to happen when they put it up. I feel.
No, no, Nick. UVA is a prestigious institution. It's
Yeah, that's right.
unbecoming of them if for their students to draw dicks.
I know, right? God forbid we say fuck tech because they're our rivals. I'm still salty about this, by the way.
It sounds stupid.
It's so dumb. Fucking went to like four games, DC United, and it was like I learned nine different ways to yell at people in Spanish. Fuck it, I come back to UVA and they're like, we can't say fuck tech because that's not very becoming of our students. Motherfucker, I spent 45 minutes calling the ref a bitch
In a different language.
in a different language.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. But
My
whatever.
favorite part about that would be like we would start the chants and you would look at me and like tell me what I'm saying and I'm like, cool, got it. I
now,
want to know how insulting we're being.
now I can yell and know what I'm doing while I'm doing it.
Exactly. I need to know exactly how insulting I'm being so I know like, what I need to stand up for later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just say some shit and have somebody call me out on it and not know what I said.
Exactly.
There is also a lack of, singing and dancing and jumping as being a UVA supporter, which I feel like is a criminal fucking. There needs to be more. Is basically what I'm saying.
Like, does no one just stand up? Is there a supporter section?
There's a student section, which is basically the equivalent of the supporter section.
Do people stand up?
Yes.
Okay. Do they jump and chant?
No.
Okay,
No.
cool. All right. It's not
We
for me.
do one thing united, which is sing the good old song after we score touchdowns, and that's it. Everything else is on you.
I feel like
And
that might be vaguely racist.
the good old
The
song?
good, oh yeah, good old song.
Um, it's shockingly not. It is
Okay.
slightly homophobic, though. That's
Only
only
slightly.
because, only slightly. That was the other half of the stop saying fuck tech, which I was offended by. The other half of that, like, things they want us to stop saying is one of the lines in the good old song is, we come from old Virginia, we're all as bright and gay. And so they want us to, because, back in the day,
Well, yeah, that's like the other usage of the term "gay," which is
yeah,
like
happy.
be happy,
And, like,
bright,
everything's great. Yeah.
playful.
But back in the day of like the 70s and 80s, God forbid that anybody think that all of the fucking white rich kids who came from Northern Virginia were gay. After singing, instead of saying all was bright and gay, they shout not gay. And so they were like, how about we be like 80% less homophobic and not shout not gay in our chants? I can get behind that. I can respect that request.
So you don't even actually sing the good old. Well, you do sing the good old song, just a changed version,
Yeah.
slightly different version. Well then, I guess that's Virginia for you.
That is Virginia for you.
Well, enough of that. It's episode 77 of ABC. I'm Brandon,
I'm Nick.
and this week we watched Demon Slayer, Doctor Stone, Fire Force, and Vinland Saga. Fire Force will soon be on a hiatus, and we won't be able to talk about it anymore.
I think
I'm
we're
pretty
going
sure
to be
this
on
is
a
the
hiatus next week.
No, because there's still a couple things to watch, like
Is there?
Doctor Stone and Vinland Saga. Is technically like, I feel like when
We're,
here,
we're going to have an
how about
ABC with 2 shows.
Demon Slayer still has an episode left.
Does it seriously still have an
Yes.
episode left?
I was gonna say we end with Demon Slayer.
How?
Yeah, it has just one more. I'm not sure what they're
How,
gonna do,
though?
but it has an episode left.
How, though?
I don't know. They're gonna have like a even bigger cliffhanger.
Yeah,
I don't
seriously. Okay, whatever.
But yeah, Demon Slayer, Fire Force, Dark Stone, Fire Force, and Vinland Saga. And then next week, we're just gonna talk about everything but Fire Force. So this is our last time. This is our last chance to talk about Fire Force. But anyways, Demon Slayer this week was a continuation of the training arc. Basically, Tanjiro is still training. Zenitsu and Inosuke are being little punk ass bitches and trying just to sleep the entire fucking time. But this episode, they finally realize that what they're doing is stupid, and they're gonna go ahead and actually train with Tanjiro. Realize, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, they get manipulated by Shinobu. Shinobu calls Inosuke a punk ass bitch, and he does not like being called that, so he decides to try. And
Yep.
he holds Zenitsu's hand. She holds Zenitsu's hand, and that immediately galvanizes him.
Yeah. Zenitsu received female attention, and therefore he's going to give a shit now.
Yep, that's all he needed.
I feel like if Zenitsu ever got a girlfriend, he would become like the most badass character.
That's what's gonna happen. That's gonna be his arc.
It would be like the Simpsons do it for her.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Zenitsu's like ultimate power.
It's about Maggie, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a while since it's been years since I watched The Simpsons.
Yeah. It took me a second because I was trying to remember which one was Maggie, but yeah,
Maggie
the
was the little
baby.
one. Yep.
Yep.
And Tanjiro continues to train, and that's basically the latter half of this episode is just them training. Well, the first part and
That's
the
the
second
first
half.
half.
Is it the first half?
This-
Because
Yeah,
if I
the
remember
second
right,
half is the flashback.
well, the flashback goes on for I think the middle part, and then we go back to the training. So our training half is both it's bookends our
Okay.
flashback.
Okay, sure.
But our flashback was with Kocho, the other
Something like
butterfly
that.
girl, the youngest butterfly girl.
The silent one.
Yeah, the one that's not dead, and the one that's
Not the
Shinobu.
youngest one. Not the youngest one.
Oh yes, right, because there's another younger one.
Just the silent one.
Yes, the one that doesn't talk. And we get her backstory. It's super sad.
Yeah. She was a little poor child.
Sold to slavery.
Yeah, basically mentally broke, got sold into slavery. The 2 other butterflies, the
two eldest
Shinobu and
ones. Shinobu
Shinobu's
and
sister.
her older sister.
Yeah. The Ara sister.
Well,
They
Shinobu's
show up.
also the Arara sister.
Shinobu became the Ara sister after the actual Ara sister died.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah, they show up, buy the child, and book it out of there.
Dip out.
They realize that, or Shinobu realizes that this kid's pretty much broken, but the older sister basically just says, "Here, have this coin. If you ever need to decide what to do, just flip the coin and do whatever the coin says."
Yep, and that's how we got into this flashback. Is that we see Butterfly Girl flipping the coin, because I guess we're meant to assume that what she's choosing is to either join the 3 boys or just dip out, and whatever the coin said is to dip out.
Well, I don't know if
Right?
I don't know if I believe that.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm with you on that one.
What do you
Because
think it is?
the end of the flashback also included the older sister saying someday you'll have somebody you care about and you'll come to understand that. And then it immediately
It's very
has
it does kind of close up on Tanjiro.
yeah. So it may be more implying she's deciding whether or not she wants to do something about, what she's starting to feel for Tanjiro and decides maybe not now.
Okay.
So I don't know if it is quite whether she's going to come with or not, because they haven't exactly said hey, come with, and she was deciding whether or not to go with. Because I feel like from what we saw in the flashback, she's not the person that she's not the type of person who would just decide for herself, I'm going to go with these guys, maybe.
Yes, at the very least, she was flipping to at least go talk to them.
Yeah.
Um, but I do agree with you on the whole Tanjiro thing. And that's going to become most likely something to look into, look forward to later. But for now, she's not going to really do much. But after Tanjiro, does all of his training for the breathing technique, he's able to break the cord and to actually catch Butterfly Girl and then beat her in the splash the water game. But right before he's about to splash the water, a little voice of reason comes to him, a little angel Tanjiro, and tells him, "Don't do that. It's kind of shitty." So he doesn't. He just puts it on top of her head.
Yeah.
He's not like my boy Inosuke, who would just do it immediately. Yeah.
You like the straightforward, I'm just going to throw this water on anybody of Inosuke?
I love Inosuke. He's just a fucking, I don't know, boar kid. Boar child. Wild.
I don't know why, but fucking, for some reason in this episode, when he was just like,
I'm gonna rip off your breast.
Like, I'm gonna rip off your breast, but also like, when he stood up in that like fucking whatever hospital jerkin or whatever you want to call it, with like his 6-pack abs out, dude was looking more shredded than usual. I felt like somehow, despite being an invalid for like close to a couple months, probably, dude was still jacked like a motherfucker.
It's all of that wildling training he got when he was being trained by that wolf.
Correction, it's all those roids he probably did.
He's from the fucking wild. Like, what fucking roids are in the wild?
Dude, he gets angry at the drop of a hat. Tell me that's not roid rage.
That's I don't know, boar kid rage.
Dude's juicing.
But yeah, I really like Inosuke just because he's just so wild and off the chain.
All right. Well, we get some more Inosuke goodness when our swordsmiths show up with new swords.
That was by far my favorite scene.
Tanjiro almost gets stabbed by his swordsmith
because he was specifically told, "Don't break my sword. I'm gonna fucking shank you."
Yeah.
And he makes good on the promise.
He does. He chases him around with the knife for a good while. But so they migrate inside, and Inosuke's swordsmith drops off his new swords, which I guess we're led to believe that his swords before like weren't official or something.
I guess so, because this is the first time he's like, well, at least the swordsmith that created it this time, that created Borkid's swords, says like this is his first time for a dual wielder. I don't know if someone else made it,
which means we can assume that somebody else made his first pair.
Wait, I don't think so. I think his first pair weren't actually like real Nichirin. Because he runs away basically after the test is done and doesn't get his ore.
Maybe.
Or they were hand-me-downs.
Yeah. The hand-me-downs is probably the most likely, I think. Mm-hmm.
And also this
I feel like they were Nichirin blades. They just weren't specifically for Boar Kid Nichirin blades.
Possibly. But this time we do see that his color is blue.
Blue-gray, yeah.
Yeah, blue-gray. But the style, it doesn't suit him. He doesn't like it, just that straight blade. So he just goes off into the pond, just looks for a rock, and just starts smashing his fucking sword.
Yeah, gotta put those jagged edges back into it. For no real reason, but whatever.
He likes to shred shit.
Yeah, but why, though?
I don't know.
It's so weird. It makes no sense, though.
It doesn't make any sense. But something else that doesn't make sense is just like... I don't know if it's just me, and I mentioned this before, but I feel like his boar mask just gives off more emotion than I let on, or than I think. Just because, like, when he's holding up that sword, he just looks so full of himself. He looks so confident. Like, so reassured. Right. I don't know why.
You connect emotionally with strange things.
I connected emotionally with that mask that doesn't change facial features.
It did change facial features once. He got sad, and the eyes were more like pointed down. Like
yes,
the eyes go in some directions, but that's about it.
And the ears turn pink when he's embarrassed.
Okay, yeah.
But that's only happened twice.
But that is basically the sum total expression of Boar Kid's boar mask.
I love that boar mask.
You have brought this up like 4 or 5 times now.
Boar mask is great. I love it. And then
but they get new swords.
Yeah,
Zenitsu already has his swords. He doesn't need new sword.
Yeah, he didn't break his.
And then we learn at the end a little bit about the fire/flame dance and the difference between them.
Well, not the difference between it. It's just that there is a difference, but we
Well,
don't know
yeah,
what it is.
that there is a difference, and that specifically the flame dance has to be called the flame dance. It's not the fire dance. That they are, well, they don't say that they're different, but we can assume that they're different.
Yes. And I think the
Um,
fire Hashira uses the fire dance specifically, not the flame one.
the flame Hashira uses the flame
Oh, he
dance.
does? Okay, sorry. I thought he was the fire one.
That was the flame one.
Wait, so then does Tanjiro know what. Does Tanjiro use flame or fire?
Fire.
Okay. I had them flipped.
Okay.
Just because
Yeah.
flame sounds cooler, in my opinion, than fire.
Yeah,
Or-
but fire is where things started, Brandon, is
Yes.
basically what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, fire is not the flame, and then flame, whatever. Maybe it's. I think. Do you think it's the square and rectangle issue, where
Kind of.
one is the sub of the other?
What I'm really leading into with this is that since this is a shonen and we haven't done any old scroll reading yet, we're gonna go do some old scroll reading at the Flame House, right?
Yes, I find out that fire is like some old version or whatever. That you
Yeah,
mentioned
we're
last
gonna
time.
read like the history of the flame breath, and there's gonna be like some reference at the end where it's like, back in the day there was the fire breath and it was super cool, but now no one knows how to use it or something.
Except some really sick father off in the mountains.
Yeah, except for this one old coal miner off in the mountain, or coal seller off in the mountains.
Also, yeah, it was also charcoal, not coal.
Charcoal, whatever.
Yeah.
That makes more sense though. Um, but yeah, so we get to go find the Flame Hashira, who's off doing the investigation of the thing that's killing all the.
Yeah, I assume it's the thing in the train.
Yeah, presumably it's the thing in the train, because otherwise there's no reason to show that to us.
Well, that could be their next mission, which might be, uh, which might have any like sort of continuity, not continuity, but it might not be related with the Flame Hashira. But that'd be stupid writing. It's probably related.
Yeah, that'd be bad writing, and so they're gonna let them. They're gonna let Tanjiro go off and talk to the Flame Hashira, and undoubtedly they're gonna get on the train together.
Choo choo. What
So
year was it again, Nick?
what year was it in Demon Slayer?
Yeah.
It was both I forgot what I said originally, like 1600
I
and
think it's
also like 1910.
Yeah, it's
I
whatever.
forgot what we decided it was actually, like 1910 or 1890
Yeah,
or something.
or I think early 1900s because they do have there is a car that we see.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, that was Demon Slayer. It's fun.
Close enough that it's almost World War II
Yeah. Or World War One.
or World War One.
Either or. But up next, we're gonna get. I assume we're gonna get some bigger cliffhanger than we had now, because we've already like shown the monster, or what is presumed to be the next monster. It could be an underling, because he didn't have like one of the numbers, right?
I didn't notice one.
Okay, there was just real symbols, so that I assume
Yeah.
it might be an underling.
Well, he just had like weird stained glass eyes, but they didn't have numbers on him.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he's gonna get like eaten by a bigger demon. He's gonna have some other demon roll up, be like, "You're not important enough. This is my train now, bitch."
So if you eat a demon, you get all of the demons or all the humans that they ate. It's like a game of fish, a game of trucks minnows.
Exactly. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But that was Demon Slayer. Super fun, super cool.
I will say the fact that Nezuko has like a voice actress who I think has delivered like a sum total of 12 lines in all of these episodes. That lady has got to. She's either not getting paid that much or like she's got the easiest job in the world.
I don't know. I know like fucking what's his face. I thought that was Thunder. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2 didn't have that many lines either. But then again, he had to like body act for most of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I always kind of disagree with that. Today I learned shit that you see on Reddit where it's like, oh, he got paid like $1 million for each word he said.
I do wonder if the Nezuko's voice actress did have to do also all of the like like, Nezuko upset
I
noises.
would assume so.
Maybe.
I wonder if Nezuko's going to talk more in the next season.
She would have to spit out that bamboo thing, so probably
Yeah.
not for a while, I assume.
Because I know she's also
maybe.
because they're also telling her that she can become a demon slayer.
And she did learn her like blood demon art thing,
which is
so
fucking badass. She makes shit explode with her blood, dude. Oh man, I can't
yeah.
wait for that crap.
So maybe she's gonna get like more blood demon powers. Because like at the rate that she's fucking powering up, which is faster than Tanjiro for damn sure.
That's why she has to
Uh,
sleep the entire time. She's like too OP to like join the gang right now.
Nezuko's just asleep all the time, so she's powering up slowly but consistently. It's a hyperbolic time chamber, but really shitty, basically.
Exactly. And so on to Dr. Stone, where all our gang needs to go and get some sulfuric acid from the sulfuric acid pond and not die in the process. Because sulfuric gas or sulfide monoxide? Sulfide
Uh,
dioxide? I don't remember what it
no,
was.
it would be
Sulfur dioxide? No, it's
no,
sulfur. It's something with carbon. Sulfur, whatever.
it would
So,
not be something with carbon because
what was it?
sulfur is electronegative and so is carbon. It would be
What's sulfur dioxide?
no, well, it might be sulfur dioxide.
Whatever. Some really bad gas that's made out of sulfur, which is a lot of things. Uh, like settles down in little like dips near volcanoes, and that's what their silver their silver pointed lance was for, to find out where these pockets were. Because if the gas comes in contact with the silver lining, with whatever it is, it turns black immediately, and they know, to back off, or else they're gonna die. Senku shares a story about a field trip that went bad when one of the teachers kind of went down to tie his shoes and then immediately died because he had hit a pocket of gas, poison gas. Which he says is a true story, and I assume it's a true story because I believe it.
I don't know. I mean, it's yeah, believable.
Hmm?
It's one of those setups for yeah, a situation that I could believe happened to some researcher somewhere, but I don't know. I've never heard the story before, so maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. But so they go off trying to find the unnamed thing, which turns out to be sulfuric acid.
Mm-hmm.
Ginro predictably freaks out when he realizes that he's on the verge of dying because of this. He acts as a really shitty sulfuric acid finder at first because he's running at the back of the
Yep.
pack. Eventually kicks into high gear, or at least medium gear, and makes his way to the front of the pack to guide them, and they don't all die immediately when they come across the lake of pure blue-green emerald water.
And
Uh,
it becomes anthropomorphized, kind of, into
kind of,
this beautiful woman who Genro immediately falls for.
the Lady of the Lake.
The Lady of the Lake. And he starts, he yearns for him, and he like becomes hypnotized and keeps going into the little ravine, only to find out that, hey, shit's bad.
Yeah,
And we see that with a couple of crows that are flying. The gas gets them, and they dip into the sulfuric acid and just melt.
yeah. That's why fucking mobsters love that shit.
Also,
You can melt bodies and burn off your fingerprints.
exactly. Or you can use some pigs. That also works.
I've also heard pineapple juice is pretty good for that.
Yeah, you need to keep like your fingers in the juice for a while, because pineapple juice is really acidic for a fruit.
Well, it's not just you. You have to prick your fingers a whole bunch with like a needle.
Oh, that would hurt so much
Stick
more.
yourself a whole bunch of times, and then stick your fingers in there. Well, yeah, but that's the point. Is you're not just burning off the top layer. You want to burn off the skin cells underneath it. So like when they grow back, it grows back. It grows back flat. So you won't regain your fingerprint ever by doing that. But yeah, it'll fuck you up. You're basically just scarring the entire like. You're basically just scarring it,
Subdermis?
so yeah, the entire like dermis, so that when it grows back in as your epidermis, it'll just grow in as scar tissue, and so it just grows in flat because it's just pure scar tissue at that point.
By
But
Red
yeah,
Hot Chili
it
Peppers.
fucking hurts. That's why
Mostly
fucking
with
that's
acid hurts.
yeah, yeah. Believe it or not, yeah, shoving your open wound into acid, not a fun time. But yeah, there you go. A little history lesson about mobsters and the use of pineapple juice.
Mm-hmm.
But they are not burning off their fingertips. Instead,
They needed
Ginro
to create
is
some medicine.
yeah, Ginro is walking into death and is saved by Tanjiro as he sees the spear turn black.
Tanjiro is a different show, Nick.
Tanjiro is a different show, Nick. Senku.
Yes.
Senku saves
The
it.
other main character.
eh, the other main character. There's a problem with this season and my names of main characters. I forget them constantly.
This is the first time I've seen you do that, though.
I didn't do it last week only because I kept asking you to give me the name when we started.
Did I?
If you go back and listen to last week's, at the beginning of every single like talk about a show, I would ask you who's the main character of this show, and you would tell me the name, and I was good for the rest of it. But the first time, I always forgot who it was, and I would ask. But Senku saves Ginro as we see the spear turn black, and at the same time, the Lady of the Lake begins to melt.
It turned into a banshee type lady.
Yeah, some sort of Basically, the Lady of the Lake got dipped in the acid. Is basically the effect that you're looking at.
Yeah.
And Senku kind of starts to understand now that this gigantic gully or pit in the ground where all of this hydrosulfuric acid is also where all of the bad gases are, and we can't get down there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we go back home to make gas masks.
Let's go.
They work up some activated charcoal gas mask with some breathing tubes in the back, so it runs around and hopefully purifies the air as long as you breathe, slow enough at a consistent rate.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide to head back out.
Yes. Right before this, though, we do have a confrontation between Senku and Chrome.
The worst confrontation ever.
Where I think Senku's like, "Hey, stay back," and Chrome's like, "No, I don't want to stay back. I want to die with you if we die." And Senku's like, "No, someone needs to continue this." And Chrome's like, "Some other bullshit." And Senku's like, "All right, you can come with me."
Yeah. So basically, the logic here was, I don't want to be a part of a plan where it makes it okay for you to die. And it's like, okay, bitch, motherfucker, I don't want to die either here. I'm not going into this thing thinking oh, I'm going to tell you all the things about science, and then I'm just going to int into the sulfuric acid. Fuck no. I want to live just as much as you want me to live here.
I feel like a better argument for Chrome's side is that it's best to have two people helping each other. Because as we see later on, both of them get get put in predicaments where they're helped by other people.
That's fair, but you could also just have Chrome stand on the top of the cliff face, above Senku, and also shout help at him. He doesn't need to be in the pit.
This is true, but wait, what?
If Chrome stands above Senku on the safe ground where they were standing earlier, he could watch over Senku from above and not have to be in the death pit.
Yeah.
But no, Chrome has to go in there because they're fucking bros. It's a shonen, so they fucking bro down, build two gas masks, and go in there together.
But the dwarf likes just making a bunch of gas masks, so it makes an extra one for Ginro, because this episode also has a lot of underlying themes with Ginro's fear of a lot of things.
Yeah. Of basically any amount of, we can call it confrontation. Yeah. Anything scary, basically.
Just everything.
Yeah. But Ginro kind of understands, my brother has that fuzzy eye disease, and he's training to fight magma, and that's probably scary as fuck, so I could do this one thing, this one time in my life. So he takes the gas mask and heads off. We don't see it on screen, but it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in the pit, Senku and Chrome are fucking just collecting some gas, and
Senku's glasses,
collecting some rocks for some reason, but it's probably some sort of sulfur thing that'll come up later.
Mm-hmm. Probably to make more
Senku gets a little bit of a drop on his pipe, and so it starts to fizzle away. He slaps a fucking patch on there, and he's good to go. But Chrome, who was running over to help and not looking where he was going, fucking eats shit off of the side of the cliff face and falls into the sulfuric acid.
Falling into.
But not.
Yes.
Because Chrome rolls up with his spear and fucking throws out.
Chrome's the one that fell, Nick.
God damn it, motherfucker. Ginro rolls up with the spear and throws out the most ridiculously sturdy spear fucking base of all time.
That shit holds up 150 pounds. Easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't even bend.
Yeah, dude, Chrome is probably less than 4 inches away from the sulfuric acid. That spear shaft has a flex of maybe an inch at most. Mm-hmm. And they're fucking holding him out there for a while. But anyways, Ginro rolls up, saves Chrome from falling into the sulfuric acid. He's freaking out, but Senku comes over and basically tells him, hey, if you keep breathing like a crazy person, you're gonna die. So Chrome kind of gets it together. Fucking goddamn it. Ginro gets it together.
Both get it together, because Chrome was kind of figuring out too.
Yeah. So they all realize they all kind of come together as a three-person team and heft Chrome to safety.
Yep.
And they have collected successfully sulfuric acid for their sulfa drugs.
And because we need more like video game references, this is treated like a final battle or a boss battle between Ginro and the Lady of the Lake, where she's like using moves on him,
Oh yeah,
like Gale Force
because
or shit.
our anthropomorphized Lady of the Lake needs to be an active participant in this boss battle, so she has all sorts of like weird fucking
Well, she is the
effects that she's
boss.
thrown. She is the boss, ostensibly. Technically, the boss is gravity,
Yeah.
but it looks like the Lady of the Lake for some reason. So she's throwing out crazy moves, and Ginro is fucking hallucinating this shit, I guess.
Yeah, that
But
gas mask didn't work too well.
yeah, no, that guess did not work at all for him. But they have to Chrome to safety. They got the sulfa drugs, and they're headed back home to continue making fucking the sulfa drugs and preparing for the throwdown with magma that's coming up soon, I assume.
Boom, boom, boom. Exactly so. I was trying to rhyme and couldn't find a rhyme.
Something about a room. Um,
Chrome
but yeah,
and Senku need a room
you. No, it's completely
for the
normal.
lab.
Anyways, the yeah,
Yeah.
I did as we were talking, not talking, as we were watching. What's her name? Kohaku talk about like how she was a lot like Chrome, and she also, didn't want to be part of a plan that made it okay for somebody to die. Which, I mean, in that one, it at least sort of made sense because her sister is sick as fuck, and
Mm-hmm.
being willing to like, oh, I don't have a reason to live anymore, could actually possibly kill her sister. That one I could believe, but it made me realize like it's probably been a long ass time since Kohaku brought that fucking medicated water to her sister. Like she used to bring that shit every day.
I
She
think it's
probably
only
has
been a
not
week.
gotten. Still, she has not gotten in a week. She used to get that shit like every day. She said
Maybe it's being done off screen. I don't know.
maybe.
It's probably just one of
Still,
those things that like it
yeah,
doesn't matter at all. Like it probably wasn't doing anything anyways.
probably not. But I mean, she's had the sickness for fucking like a billion or 12 years, and she's not dead yet, which is surprising for back then.
Yeah, that's what makes me wonder. Like, what exactly is her sickness? Because if it's
She
like,
probably has like fucking asthma or some shit.
yeah, but then I don't think the sulfa pills are gonna work with that. Just give her some, I don't know, asthma inhaler thing. But I don't know how far away they are from that.
That's true.
I have no idea how that shit works.
I mean, realistically, she probably has some sort of like bacteria thing, so she probably has like
Bronchitis.
bronchitis or pneumonia or something.
Okay.
Maybe at most like tuberculosis, maybe. But
Maybe, but like I feel like that if it was TB, you would see her coughing up blood, or maybe that's just a little too early for those flags to go up.
yeah, the coughing up blood thing has got to be like moments before death.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was annoyed that Chrome ended up coming with, but I guess it's one of those like in classic shonen like flag raising tropes. If Senku had given Chrome all of the knowledge, that would be like the highest his death flag has ever gone. Like Senku then has to die by the rules of shonen anime. So I guess that's why like in canon he couldn't give Chrome all the knowledge, was because the author didn't want Senku to die, but it made no logical sense for Chrome to come. I was mildly annoyed by that.
Yeah, it was a little. But I guess I wasn't as annoyed as you were. I was just like, it's a dumb argument, but whatever.
Yeah.
Did you say mildly annoyed?
Yeah.
I guess I was mildly annoyed too. I was gonna say that's how I felt. But oh well. I'm still really enjoying it. I don't know what they're gonna make up next because I don't remember the little mind map thing that they made. Because we have this stuff for cast, which is probably the hardest thing to get.
They have to go
Of
pee
the
on
stuff.
something at some point.
They just need pee, yeah. They just need to pee into a little bamboo shooting cup, distill that shit for a little bit.
Yeah.
What else do they need?
They have magnets. They have electricity. They need alcohol. I think
But that's
they
just the
still need
wine.
that. Yeah.
Unless they need like
Uh,
more fine alcohol.
Senku has to make a cola for
Oh right.
what's his name at some point.
And I just realized it's been part of the opening for like ever, and I just
Oh yeah, the
realized
cola.
yeah why the cola was there. I just thought it was
Yeah.
the Mentos reaction shit. Just But it makes sense
I
that it's there.
Yeah, I never noticed it either. Like I was never paying attention to it, but then last episode I finally like actually saw the opening and watched the cola thing and I was like, "Oh, they were literally just telling us this whole time that this was actually going to be a thing, huh?"
Yep. Need some Coca-Cola. I really hope they make the one with the cocaine in it.
The Senku cola.
Yep.
The cocaine cola.
Yeah. The legit year one cocaine Coca-Cola.
Uh I mean, fuck, never mind. I was going to make a joke somewhere in here about like hysterical women, but like I just couldn't find the joke.
Were they
And I was
were
like,
they
"There's."
prescribed cocaine?
I think so. If I remember correctly, it was cocaine.
I feel like most people like in the 1900s were prescribed cocaine for literally anything.
I don't think it was an opiate. They weren't like super huge on prescribing opiates, I don't
I know
think.
sometimes they were like given massages, and I'm using air quotes, to deal with their hysteria. Once
Oh
again,
yeah, the
air
doctor had to
quotes.
come in and yeah, manually give them a massage of the affected areas for
Yes,
their female hysteria. Yeah.
and then they were giving objects as well.
That was more of a rich people thing though. The cocaine was like an everybody thing or like a middle class thing at the very
Probably middle
least.
class thing. Remember, poor people always really, really, had the short end of the stick all the time.
Yeah. Also back in the day they were aggressively poor. Tenement housing, it was not a fun time. But yeah, so the cola thing aside and the hysterical women thing aside, I don't know where they're going next. They're I'm assuming it's a few more steps.
I feel
Like
like
I said, they need the urea out of urine, I think, for something with the sulfuric acid, and they need the alcohol for something, and there's at least one more like step I think that I remember.
probably some plant. I'm just gonna some plant somewhere, some herb.
But maybe we're, gonna see the fight with Magma next episode.
Yeah, possibly. Because I think it's been long enough where it's presumably been about a month. So, who knows?
So maybe it's time for the fight, and Senku's just gonna like kind of gonna finish up the last little couple steps off screen. And basically the reason he'll just be like, oh yeah, Chrome just had everything else.
Possibly. Yeah. We'll see how that happens. Next episode, which is episode 13. Yeah, because it's episode 12.
That sounds about right.
And so let's go to Fire Force. And much like Demon Slayer, this also had another big flashback. And I think this
Jesus,
was.
you suck at these transitions.
Well, what the fuck else was I supposed to say?
I don't know.
Yeah. See? It's hard, Nick. Fuck you.
Yeah, but you make it so awkward, like every time.
I'll try harder next time. Let's
There's
talk about
no, like-
Vinland Saga now.
There's no comfortable flow from like, oh, we're done talking about this show, on to the next one. It's always like, well, I guess that's, nobody else has anything to say, so let's just sort of awkwardly fumble fuck our way into the next show.
I'm trying my best.
What are you doing? My best, damn it!
And so Fire Force. Yeah, we have another long flashback with Lieutenant, and then the second half is we see the greatest fighter in all the Fire Force, the 7th District leader, something Shinmon Benjimaru?
Benimaru something.
Benimaru Shinmon. That's what it was.
That sounds about right.
But our main flashback deals with how the lieutenant met Captain OB. Not Obe. Obe is someone different, and someone actually specific. And how they got Maki to join. Well, Maki just kind of joined after fucking the lieutenant asked her to. But lieutenant and captain, going into kind of their backstory. Captain was a normal firefighter beforehand, and the lieutenant was part of the army forces, whatever.
Yeah, the army.
Yeah. His friend that became an infernal at some point after he got his gun baptized. He's not able to actually kill his friend when he becomes infernal, despite his friend pleading him to, because he feels that it would be, it wouldn't be correct to kill him at that point because he doesn't have a baptized gun, and that's, I guess, not important to him, but more important to his friend and how he wants to deal with his friend in a correct way. But
use nouns. You're driving me fucking insane.
I'll use what
You
I fucking
said
want.
he in like 19 different places, and you meant two different people every single time.
That wouldn't be
Like,
nouns. That would be pronouns,
is
Nick.
his friend, and he couldn't do it because he said, and I'm like, just say the people. You're driving me fucking insane because you're talking about different people every
I
time.
completely forgot Lieutenant's name.
Just say the lieutenant and the lieutenant's friend.
All right. Well, Lieutenant is given the choice to kill his friend after he becomes an infernal. After his friend becomes an infernal,
Thank you.
he chooses not to shoot his friend. Fuck it, whatever. Fuck you. Um,
See, but this is why the English language uses nouns, because if you use pronouns, you sound like a crazy person because it's impossible to follow
this is true.
who is doing what.
I'm gonna blame the English language then.
Okay, you blame the English language.
Anyways, Lieutenant doesn't kill his friend. He doesn't have Lieutenant doesn't have a baptized gun, and Lieutenant feels like that's an improper way to kill his friend.
Yes.
But
instead, his friend just gets gunned down by like 9 dudes with
who
SMGs.
most likely also don't have baptized guns.
Oh yeah, no, there's absolutely
100%.
not baptized guns.
But anyway,
he gets killed, and the lieutenant feels conflicted about not being able to
kill his friend.
give his friend the send-off he deserved.
Yep, so
the friend deserved.
So Lieutenant takes his friend's gun. It becomes his now, and Lieutenant has like this kind of moment of mourning where he just goes outside and walks around for a little bit. And that's when Lieutenant comes across the 3rd District being called off into a 2 infernal scenario. We see that there's kind of some politics involved as to like how they manage the infernals, because the districts basically say that one infernal has more points than the other, which we haven't been introduced into the concept yet.
Okay, I don't think that's all the districts. I kind of think that was implied to only be the 3rd district was doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, because at the end of that, so they're talking about, they reference points sort of obscurely, and
Yeah.
Obi, who is the firefighter on the scene, sort of keys into like, what's his points thing. And so he kind of presses the firefighters on, what are you guys doing? Are you guys just gonna put down this infernal that's literally right here in front of you in this building? But no, they're gonna drive like halfway across town and kill this other one because it's worth more points. And so they finally get to the heart of, what does this points thing mean? And the 3rd captain says, the points is just a way of, we assign value to infernals so that my men's morale stays high. Which I kind of took to imply that it was just the 3rd district who was doing this.
Okay.
I don't think it's a department-wide thing.
Okay.
I also don't know if that was the captain of the 3rd district or just some 3rd district dude.
I think it was the captain because they have some mustache, facial hair.
Was the 3rd captain Mussolini?
I thought so, but I also thought the 3rd captain was Witch Doctor.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, I
okay.
thought the 3rd doctor. I thought, yeah, 3 was fucking Plague Doctor. So I was
Possibly.
pretty certain that was not the 3rd captain.
Okay, that was just a guy.
I think Benito Mussolini was the 2nd captain, or the 4th captain. I don't remember.
No, I think 4th was the lady.
You're right. 4th was the lady. Dude looks like a lady.
5th is princess.
5th is princess.
Wait, is 5th princess? 6th is...
6th was the one that we don't remember. But then 7th was Benimaru, and 8 was Obi.
Yep.
Wasn't one of them like a weird crusader-looking dude? But not the...
Not the white clad crusader dudes who are part of evangelists. I don't remember.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably see some of the captains again, so we'll get to be reintroduced to them. But I think we both had the same feeling that the 3rd was the Plague Doctor dude, so I think we're right about that.
Okay. So he has a point system.
That may no longer be the captain. That may also not be what the 3rd... That may have been the old 3rd captain. The new 3rd captain doesn't do that. We'll find out.
Yes.
We'll see if that's still going on, because I'm sure we'll meet that Plague Doctor dude again.
Yep. But Obi and Lieutenant go off and just go off to what do they call it? Release the infernal that's just off in the corner, not really doing anything. And so Lieutenant shoots him with a gun, the baptized gun specifically, and this sparks the resolve to start their own district off in some other corner. And they come across a really shitty looking church that's got spray painted all over it. And that's also when the lieutenant says, hey, I also know this other girl, and she'll join us. And Captain Obi's like, all right. End scene.
That's, pretty much how it runs.
And then Maki's very teary-eyed and
yeah, because the lieutenant says some nice things about Maki in the flashback, and Maki is super thrilled. Like, you actually care.
Yeah, Maki is actually just flowers inside of a female body.
Yeah. So Maki is super thrilled that the lieutenant cares. Lieutenant, whatever.
Yeah.
But they decide they need to investigate one of the old, possibly human-made infernals that was in the 7th District's territory. Because there was this infernal wearing all white with a strange red cross that we may, you know, was he a human made infernal? Was he one of the white clads gone infernalized? We're probably gonna find out.
Next
Because,
episode.
yeah. Well, we roll up on the 7th District and we get to see a little bit of Benimaru fucking rolling around the town.
This is also Old Town, apparently.
Yeah, everybody looks like they're from, yeah, the back in the day era. Benimaru is seen to be sort of a hard ass, but also sort of a good guy. We
Everyone
get to
likes
meet
him
a
around
couple
town.
town members. We get to meet a couple members of Benimaru's crew, specifically two girls who are like
Twins.
twins, but also insane. So they're gonna have some fucked up firepower, I'm sure.
One has fire,
Uh,
the other one has ice.
you know, they haven't made ice powers a super big thing
Yeah.
yet. Only the one dude has ice, and he has ice for some fucked up actual. It's actually fire, just converted into music and then converted back
Don't
into
even try, Nick.
temperature.
Don't even try.
Yeah, it was weird. But like fire or ice powers haven't been a thing yet, so I'd be
I just don't
surprised if
think
it.
ice powers are a thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna guess they both are gonna have some sort of fucked up firepower, but like they're gonna turn into like the fire version of like the small children from The Shining or something. Like it's super. Like they've got the demented twins thing going down.
Or it could be like the mini-cons from Transformers, where they just fuse to become a bigger Transformer.
They
Like a
fuse
normal
together
size.
the two of them, or do they jump on to Benimaru and like turn into like Benimaru batteries?
He just lights their hair on fire and treats it the same way as like the fucking
The
festival
brooms.
sticks. Yeah,
Just whips the small children across the room. That'd be
exactly.
interesting. But yeah, so we see one of the dudes from the 7th District. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention our 8th District guys roll up on the 7th District because Benimaru is not a huge person for tradition. They want to investigate. Benimaru is not super thrilled that they want to investigate on his turf.
Yep.
But the main part of going to the 7th District now, we see when one of the people that we saw earlier, when Benimaru was rolling around town, he has infernalized.
And
So we get to see Benimaru in
Yep.
action.
yes, and I like his power, or not his power, but the way he uses power is really cool.
His broom thing.
Not his broom thing, but like, yeah, his broom thing and everything before that, or it's just like he makes it into a giant festival where everyone's kind of involved. It was kind of interesting, even though he
All right.
destroys half the fucking city.
Well, it was just one block.
It was just one block, yes, but it's one block per infernal. They say
Yeah,
it's a sacrifice.
as a sacrifice
I'm not
because
entirely sure why.
I mean it's like a religious thing as far as I could tell.
I guess so, but at some point, like, it's just not worth the money. It's just not worth it.
Eh, I mean to these people it is.
Yep. But he uses like yeah, they're not brooms, but I don't know what they are called.
There's some sort of like festival
Signage.
celebration thing.
Yeah. And he kind of uses them like flying brooms, where he like grabs onto one of them and just blasts off half a block over somewhere else. And he also like throws them like a spear, and they just like launch like a tomahawk missile.
Yeah.
Because tomahawks
Because
don't launch.
he doesn't just take down half a block for no reason. He fucking launches 6 brooms and they explode and destroy half a city block.
Yep. And we also find out that he has both second generation and third generation powers, because third generation can only make fire, second generation can like manipulate fire. I guess that's
Yeah.
a thing.
I guess that's how they were explaining it. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like Shinra produces fire out of his feet, but he doesn't really control the fire. Like he just
Yeah.
shoots it out of his feet. Whereas like Maki and the Lieutenant both more have like a control thing.
But
Where like Lieutenant doesn't make the sparks, he just when the sparks appear, he can make them turn the bullet.
but Princess Abana also has like the third generation power and is able to control heat.
Is she able to control heat, or is she just able to make it hot?
I don't know, actually, honestly, because that's how she like gives Shinra heat stroke.
Yeah,
But like,
but she just makes it hot around
yeah,
him.
it's possible. But is that
I don't know.
controlling it? The heat?
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
it's
I know.
very gray
There is-
area.
It's a very gray area.
It's very like
It's
soft
all-
magic system where shit
Exactly.
happens.
I thought you were more going to go for the fire tree that she makes too.
Fire Tree's fucking cool.
She makes the fire tree and then
That's
fucking
awesome.
like launches the leaves all around the room, and that's she's also is she making the fire? Yes, but is she controlling the leaves? I mean, kind of. She's making them fall and shit like that.
But then
so,
she like waves her like fan and then makes a giant tornado.
yeah, exactly. Like where is the line between making the fire and controlling the fire in this show? It's
So,
very gray.
um, what I would say is that has nothing to do with the seventh captain. The author just wanted him to have two different eyes, and this was just a reason for it.
He just wanted him to have the OI and the XI.
Yep.
All right, I believe that.
At some point, I don't know. There might be some eye transfusion going on. He's gonna become Naruto.
Oh God, that would be gruesome.
Yep. But after that fight, he quickly takes down the bar tender guy.
Something like that. Yeah.
Whatever he's doing something with alcohol. But he kills him. He goes back and he starts eating the little snacks that one granny gave him. And he says, "Oh, they're too sweet." And that's where the episode ends.
He's a cool looking dude. I like
He's fucking
him.
awesome. I love him. I vaguely feel like I know his voice, but I'm not sure from what.
We're doing this again.
I'm just pointing it out. I'm not going to go look it
Okay.
up.
Okay.
I
Good.
will go look it up after the episode.
Oh, great. Another 20-minute rabbit hole.
But yeah, I feel like he's in something. I'm not sure. I want to see Sasuke, but he's not. Just his whole demeanor just reminds me of him, but I know that's not his voice actor.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. Just because he's an edgy dude with black hair doesn't mean it had to be voiced by Sasuke's
Exactly.
voice actor. Um, I'm noticing more and more that the design of the show, or the direction of the show, there's a couple times where they had long static shots of things where nothing was happening on screen and nothing was being said.
Yeah.
So we had the lieutenant holding the two trays as he realized he picked up his friend's tray without being asked, and nobody says anything. He's just staring at the trays for a while.
And he says,
And then
wow.
after Obi and the lieutenant leave the house, they stare. There's a shot of just the police tape on the ground, or the firefighter tape on the ground. There have been a couple times where they've said static shots of something with no voice, no sound, nobody saying anything about
it's very
it.
ambient, just
Yeah.
what you'd hear in that setting.
And I feel like there's an effect that they're shooting for, but I don't know what it is. They're very interesting shots. Because it's always Lieutenant staring at the two trays as he ponders why am I doing this? And the firefighter tape on the ground after they killed an infernal for the first time together. I feel like they're always poignant shots, but I don't really know what the purpose of them are. Not to say that they don't work. I can't put into words what the point of them are, but I'm noticing that it's a very consistent thing that happens.
I would describe them as a period after a long sentence.
All right.
Because we have our first scene where Lieutenant is talking with his friend. There's a lot of interaction, and then there's there's this short little period of silence in order for us to take our breath and kind of take in what just happened, and then it's led directly into the chaos that is his friend becoming an infernal, and something somewhat similar to after Obi and Lieutenant meet. Once again, we get that kind of period, and then we go directly into if I remember correctly, this is where the flashback ends, and then we go back into Maki doing her flowery bullshit, and talking with Lieutenant and stuff like that, and then we just continue on. It has happened a lot of times before. Another example is we see the outside shot of the firefighting house a couple times. They did a lot of that with the jokes with 911, sorry. 911.
911.
Yeah, or after there's some sort of interaction with the crew, we I think this is 2 episodes ago, they go back to the 3 guys up on the fucking clothes hanger, and it's just kind of a little shot there, and we just see what they're doing for a little bit. And they're mostly just hanging there. Once again, kind of periods at the end of a sentence.
All right. I can believe that.
Yeah, it's a way it's a way to have the scenes paced out. And it also gets to fill out time. I don't know.
Sure. In terms of things you probably can't answer, but I'd like to wildly speculate on, I wonder if Obi had to buy the firefighting cathedral that they live in now, or if he just got given it by the Force when he started his company.
If it said 8 beforehand, he was probably given that church.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe, yeah. I didn't think of that.
Because it was probably maybe a district that didn't have a lot of activity. So it just it was somewhat decommissioned, and then he just shows him, "Hey, I have a small crew. Can I use that old fucking shit?" And he's like, "All right, why not?"
It just seems like a very like unofficial way for like the way they portrayed like the special firefighting division is like they're like infernal shock troops basically. So like the thought of Obi just rolling up and being like, "Hey, give me this building and let me form a division," and the firefighting committee was just like, "Okay, that sounds legit."
But like that's what Benimaru did.
That's because Benimaru was a badass though.
Obi's also bad. He doesn't have fire powers. He uses a shield and a fucking
I mean,
axe.
yeah, Obi is a badass, but like Benimaru is acknowledged as the strongest fire soldier.
Which also reminds me, we continue our shonen trope of our main character literally wanting to fight anybody that's in his fucking way.
Oh yeah,
The
immediately
immediate
challenges the dude to a
moment.
duel.
Yes. God damn it. Fucking Shinra.
Fucking Shinra.
We're
Are they
fight-
gonna fight each other?
No. If they fight each other, Shinra's just get his shit pushed in immediately.
He already got his shit pushed in. I feel like they can't do that again. He already got his shit pushed in by
Hope
the
they
first
do.
division people. If they do that again, I'm gonna be upset.
Well, what's Shinra gonna
I
do?
just want Betty Bar to look at him and be like, "Yeah, fuck no."
Okay, so you don't want them to fight.
I don't want them to fight. I just want Betty Bar to be like, "You are not worth it."
Okay. I'll be okay with that.
Because like we already established that Shinra was below the first division dudes in terms of strength.
Well,
With I
for
guess
sure
the
below the
exception
captain.
of the below the captain for sure, and probably below the one dude that he fought. Like Shinra was
Yeah, well,
we've
yeah.
already established Shinra is not that strong, and the seventh division is so much stronger than everybody else. Like they just shouldn't fight. It's not worth it. So I'm assuming this dude Benimaru is just not going to want to be a part of it.
I believe so. Do you think he's gonna become a villain or an ally?
Benimaru,
Yes.
an ally.
Okay.
He looks like one of those,
He looks ally enough.
yeah, he looks like one of those. I'm going to pretend to not care, but in actuality, I'm going to care a lot. Because like even his interactions with the people that his neighborhood were like, "Don't
Yeah.
talk to me, you old fuck," but in actuality, like he gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be surprised if we saw Benimaru turn into like a full-on villain.
Okay. And so that was Fire Force, right? Vinland Saga,
That
episode 11.
all right,
Boom.
Vinland Saga.
Take that, Nick. That was the best segue we've ever had.
Immediate transfer into Vinland Saga. I'll give it to you.
So Vinland Saga. We continue with Askeladd's plan to capture Prince or Princess Canute.
I'm still gonna go with Prince Canute.
Prince. I saw some comments, and I guess it's still Prince. He just looks very feminine.
Oh, okay. I didn't look anything up. I'm just gonna until they whip some shit out or have Prince Canute say like I'm a lady. I'm just gonna stick with Prince Canute.
Because they do mention there's a princess, I think. It's either they say
Maybe?
it's either they say he looks like a princess or he looks like the princess, and that's
I took that more of a princess.
but like that's when wording actually matters. If it's the princess, then he probably has a younger sister, or had a younger sister. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But
That's
again,
what I'm going with.
from like a political whatever narrative, it just doesn't make sense
Yeah.
for the third child to pretend to be a dude.
Unless they're trying to keep Prince Canute safe, and they just don't care about the princess.
Yeah,
That's
but
the,
still.
yeah, that's the
Anyways,
only like thing I see, and I don't know if they're doing that.
it doesn't make sense for the third son, so I don't feel like they're disguising a lady as a dude or anything like that. So.
Yeah, right. Because Prince Canute would be the second son. I think he's the second son. Well,
Who's the second son?
he's just
Oh, yeah.
not the first son.
Yeah,
it doesn't
he's not
make
the
sense.
primary son,
It
so
just
yeah.
doesn't make sense to protect him in that
Exactly.
way. So I guess we'll see what's going on next episode. This episode, Thorkel is just riding along, making fun of Christians for like a good 5 minutes.
Pretty much.
And our resident Christian priest has an alcohol problem. He has ye olde alcoholism.
Ye olde alcoholism, and also gets real rough withdrawal symptoms, I guess.
Yes, that's why I said he has alcoholism, because I'm pretty sure
Because-
it's really bad withdrawal. He starts seeing things. He starts seeing God.
And it probably has not been like that long. It's been like a couple days.
We also
but
find
he's
we also find out
full
that
on tweaking out.
yeah, and we also find out that he's not a very good priest, because any god that gives him booze is the god for him.
You know, it is what it is.
But after Thorkill kind of makes fun of him for a little bit, um, we see Ragnar's remnants show up to try and take back Prince Canute from Thorkill's greedy little hands. And they say, hey, we've got 2,000 people here. Surrender, and we won't kill you all. Thorkill sees this as a bluff and just hands over Prince Canute, because they're going to fight anyways, and he's just kind of teasing them a little bit. Trying to get them to, get scared and shit their pants. And so the battle begins between Thorkill's army and Ragnar's army. And Thorkill kills a bunch of people.
Yeah.
He does the fucking blender move. God, that was so cool.
This is the, like, part of the show that I sort of don't really love, is, like, some of the fighting is just too, like, mythical for me.
Like, Thorkill just throwing the spear up the hill.
Yeah, Thorkill fucking launching that spear up the hill to hit a dude in the face who was, like, behind some bushes and, basically in cover. Fucking the fact that he, like, whips around a giant tree last episode.
Mm-hmm.
He was fucking throwing rocks across, like, basically small boulders across the pond.
Olympic distances.
Yeah, beyond Olympic distances. Olympic distance and shot put would be like, he shot put it like 40 feet. Dude was throwing him like 400 yards. So yeah, like, there's a certain mythical quality to some of the action in this that I'm not super in love with.
I actually like it instead. I really enjoy it.
Do you?
Yeah, it feels more like a folk
story. I like
story.
more of the, like, the Banana Fish style, where, like,
It's
stuff in Banana Fish was more realistic. Like, outside of the Banana Fish drug thing, like, all of the violence in Banana Fish was pretty realistic, which I liked. So the fact that this is, like, more of a mythical quality sort of detracts in my mind that, like, they're also trying to tell, like, a pseudo-historical story.
Okay. I see that. But after this little fight is done, we begin Askeladd's plan, and that's just to set the entire fucking forest on fire. Everything. Just everything.
Yeah.
And just hope he kills as many people as possible. And not Prince Canute.
He's going with the old Sun Tzu strategy of...
just burn it all!
Light everything on fire and kill any of the fucks who survive.
So they douse Thorfinn in some water. They put that boy on a horse and just slap the horse away and tell him to go get that prince, Thorfinn. Yeah. And he just makes his way to the fire, which I'm pretty sure is not possible because the horse would not want to go into the fire.
Probably not.
But the horse ends up dying because it gets set on fire.
Yeah.
At the very end, that was sad.
And not in the exciting fucking Hyakkimaru way from last season.
Fucking rapid ass shit.
Yeah.
This is just a horse on fire.
Horse is just a horse on fire dying. Yeah. Oh god. Thorfinn lands behind his horse and prepared to shank a motherfucker.
And then he does.
2 knives out. And he does, because he always gets underestimated immediately.
Because to be fair, he's pretty small.
I mean, yeah, but dude just rode, like, through the fire and fucking jumped off a flaming horse. I wouldn't look at that dude and be like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck with this. This looks like a situation that I want to get dick deep in.
But he does his best anime impression, his best, like, Naruto impression, where he, like, does the instant teleportation shit. And he just has 2 of his daggers inside the dude's neck.
Yeah, he does some full-on fucking
Ninja
Dragon
bullshit.
Ball Z, instant teleportation bullshit. Somehow, nobody can figure out where he's gone, despite the fact that it's very obvious where his 2 legs are.
Yeah. He actually didn't really move that far. He moved like a foot forward.
Where could he possibly go? This one dude has 4 legs, but where is that one small child gone? But yeah, so he stabs that dude in the neck and is prepared to murder all the rest of the fuckers, but...
until Uncle Thorkel comes up.
Yeah. Thorkel rolls up and wants to get to the bottom of this whole... You said Thor's was your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about the same Thors? And they come to understand that they are, in fact, talking about the same Thors. A man that Thorkel respects, because he's the only motherfucker that was stronger than Thorkel.
Mm-hmm.
So Thorkel is interested now even more so in Thorfinn
Yeah.
because he is the son of Thor's.
Oh, fun fact: in the first episode, we actually see Thorkel fighting with Thors on that boat.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Also, the way he talks about Thorfinn's mom makes me think that his mom is related to. Sorry, that Helga, Thorfinn's
Uh-huh.
mom, is related to Thorkel in some way.
Huh.
I think that's what they're going for.
That would
So,
be interesting.
Thorkel is Thorfinn's uncle,
Yeah,
possibly.
maybe actually
Yeah.
Uncle Thorkel. That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Thorfinn will give a shit about that if it comes up.
Who knows? That's for next time when they, meet once again. Because Thorfinn's able to get Prince Canute, Ragnar, and the priest out to safety, out over to Askeladd's army. Because Thorkel's like, yeah, I'll give you this one, and just go away. Because they're going to meet in Wessex to fight with the main army.
Yes.
That's Thorkel's plan currently.
And Thorfinn still basically sees Thorkel's head as a ticket to fight Askeladd again.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or not Thorkel is actually his uncle, he very well may still kill him because he really wants to kill Askeladd.
Yes.
And he needs to get that head.
Mm-hmm. Or do something else. Whatever Askeladd's feeling that day.
Yeah.
We also get, at least with Askeladd's side, Bjorn kind of tries to tease into him a little bit to try to figure out what's actually going on and what his relationship is with Thorfinn. Because Bjorn not finds out, but guesses that Askeladd actually cares somewhat about the kid. At the very least, trusts the kid to, perform his duties.
Mm-hmm.
He's daddening up a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just around the
bit.
edges.
Just around the edges. Not enough to, shank the kid.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Like I said, Dread Pirate Roberts.
Thorfinn, shows up with the prince, and this is when we find out that, hey, the prince has long hair and
feminine features.
And feminine features. And everyone's like, oh, that prince looks like a princess. End episode.
Yeah. So maybe next time we're going to find out that it's actually a princess.
Maybe.
Or maybe he's going to fucking take his pants out and whip out like a 6-inch long dong, and we're going to find out legit a dude.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll find out why he's a Christian.
And maybe we'll find out why he's a Christian.
And if that's going to come into play.
The fact that the prince is a Christian?
Yeah.
I mean, how would it come into play exactly?
Because I still think the prince is a pacifist because of his Christian upbringing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Maybe?
Because we haven't seen him fight at all. So either he is not a fighter or is a badass motherfucker. He's gonna start taking names next episode. I don't know.
That would be weird if he was actually amazing at fighting and was like, I have to hold back so as to not kill everybody.
This seething arm of mine cannot see blood.
That would be awesome if he was actually a Chuny. I'd be surprised though if he was actually like an amazing badass fighter. It's like everything we've heard about him before has been like nobody really knows that much about him. He's a punk ass bitch. He doesn't want to do anything. So like I feel like it's more likely that he's a pacifist than he's a badass. But we'll find out maybe.
He could be a pacifist and an average fighter.
It's true he could be, but I feel like he's not.
But we'll definitely find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. We might find out some stuff about Prince Canute next episode.
I had a thought, and then it just completely blanked in my mind.
Was
Oh my god! When was
it something about Vinland Saga?
At this point, I don't know. My train was my train was going. I was going choo choo, and then suddenly it just fell off a cliff because the tracks weren't there anymore.
That's rough.
And now it's just in the water and just tampering with the fucking ocean. God damn it! What the fuck was I gonna say?
Do you know anything about what it may have been?
No, I think it had something to do with Prince Canute, but whatever.
Okay.
Listen, yes, that was Vinland Saga. Some of the animations of the episode was really cool, especially with the blender, Thorkel just chopping limbs left and fucking right. And then we have some of the CGI, the army battle, kind of for a little bit in an overhead shot.
Mm-hmm.
But
some of the momentary bits of army on army violence is always really brutal.
Yeah.
The first contact, a dude got his head chopped off immediately. usually when you have like two armies slam into each other, it's just like a whole bunch of dudes like you
Kind of
know
just shoving each other a little bit.
yeah, shoving each other, like they just bump into each other basically. But like, dudes got like fucking eviscerated immediately. They just got right in there to it. So
I've noticed that they do that. They'll save the actual budget for the first confrontation, and then for like everything else, where it's just a bunch like a mass, just butt fucking each other, like straight into butt heading each other.
uh
That's when they'll use the CGI, and people are just gonna be like doing the same two kind of moves over and over again for a couple of them.
I
As
can
opposed,
respect that though.
yeah, because a lot animating that many people is not cheap.
Yeah, hard. But I can respect that. You show people immediately like, all right, this is what it's gonna be like, and then you just show them the CGI, and you're like, just imagine that a lot.
Yeah, we got not enough money and not enough people.
Yeah. So I mean, I can respect. Yeah, you see it one time, and then you get the overhead CGI, and it's just use your imagination.
Yeah. Do you still think Askeladd's gonna die? I legit thought he was gonna die this episode because of all the gloom and doom he was talking about last.
Hmm.
But do you think he'll die soon?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he's got to go down, and I think Thorfinn is not going to be the one to kill him still.
I would agree. I think I'm still in that train of thought. I'm still in that frame of mind.
Uh-huh. It might be Thorkel, but I'd be kind of surprised. I kind of expect Thorfinn and Thorkel to have like a one-on-one sort of thing later.
Hmm.
I'd be surprised if Askeladd got in on that.
So the image that Askeladd had last episode, I think that was Prince Canute.
You think so?
I think that was Prince Canute. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure
I can
why,
believe that.
but I think it was him or her.
I mean, it's
We'll find out.
believable as any.
Yep. But that was Vinland Saga. We will continue next season or next episode.
Next episode.
What would you like to sell out to today, Nick?
Um, what would I like to sell out to? Uh, I guess I'll sell out to the climate strike that happened
Oh,
on
Friday.
Friday.
The high schoolers.
Yeah,
And everyone else has joined them as well.
everybody else too.
Hmm.
A lot of people joined in all over the world, basically. They had a climate strike because climate change is
Earth's
a
on
real
fire.
thing that's happening. Is what?
Earth's on fire.
The Earth's on fire, yeah.
Much like the
Yeah.
forest in Vinland Saga.
Much like the forest in Vinland Saga and the Amazon. Uh, yeah, it's real bad. Apparently, there was a report put out today by the Global Climate Change something or other.
That's getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting
accelerating.
slightly worse, which any amount of worse is never good. So, yeah, it's real bad up in here. So, give a shit is basically the moral of the story of this sellout.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle. But mostly reduce, because that's the important part. That's the most impactful part
Yes.
of the meaning of the saying.
And most importantly, get up to a level in wherever you work that you can make decisions and then decide for your company to use less shit.
That too.
Because,
It's mostly companies that are using a lot of stuff.
yeah,
There's only so much a single person can do.
yeah.
Like you can,
Statistically, reducing your carbon footprint only has a negligible effect on the world, but reducing a company's carbon footprint by a couple percent has a meaningful impact. So, if you can get up to a point where you can affect real change in your company, give it a shot and fucking reduce some shit and save the planet.
yeah. Which, as much as I don't like Amazon, they're cutting down on a bunch of stuff too. They just recently released their sustainability report on Thursday.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And their plan about like how they're going to go about reducing the carbon footprint. Like this year, they're trying to get 60% electric vehicles for their deliveries, I think, or 60%
Wow.
carbon neutral. I don't remember the exact numbers, but by 2030, they want to be 0%, like or 100% carbon neutral.
Yeah. All right, I can respect that.
Yeah, or 2040. I don't remember. Yeah, don't throw shit away.
Don't fuck up the planet anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I will sell out to something less impactful and I don't know. That is carrying.
Go for it.
I'll be honest, I actually didn't have anything, so I was just gonna sell to Leskias. Because I just see it right there.
That's fair.
But I'm not gonna do that. Because I'm gonna sell out to Bimajo no Ayano-san, which is about a 39-year-old woman and her year just doing random bullshit. And then as soon as she turns 40, that's when the manga ended, and I'm sad.
Yep. The
Okay.
manga ended recently, yes?
Well, English translations ended about 2 days ago. I'm not sure when the actual Japanese version ended, but yes, it ended fairly recently.
Yes.
It was,
Uh,
a decently cute, slice of life comedy. It was about 4 pages each chapter. There's theories that this was just kind of a test run for the mangaka to see if he could, do some other bigger stuff. It's got nice art. The jokes are kind of okay. That's really all there is to say about it because there's only so much plot you can have in 4 pages each chapter.
but we're hopeful that the mangaka will come back with a real series
And more lucha too.
and more loot shit, I guess.
Shout outs to Aihara Akito. I'm gonna shout out to him today.
There you go.
Boom. I love you, man. Keep drawing that old lady.
And get a serialization for her so she can have like 20 panels.
Technically, he already did.
Is it a serialization though? I guess technically.
Yeah, I think like it's put out each month or week or whatever it was. So
Yeah.
get another serialization with the same character.
A longer one.
That's it.
But I believe that brings us to the close of yet another episode of ABC.
This is when we would play "Goodbye from the Neighborhood." Mr. Rogers had like a goodbye song, but I don't know what it was.
I didn't really watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, I'll be honest.
I watched it like a couple of times when I was younger, and I just regularly remember. I know that he sings in the beginning, and I could have sworn he sang at the end, and I wanted to reference it, but I completely forgot what it was. So there's that.
All right, well,
See ya.
we are back on our regularly scheduled programming. We will be here whenever Brandon puts these out.
I put them out Wednesday. I've been pretty good about putting them out Wednesdays.
And in the future, in a couple weeks, we will take a hiatus and then come back for Neon Genesis Evangelion, which we've been saying we'll do at some point, and we finally decided to do it
I
for
thought,
the hiatus week.
yes, the hiatus week where we're not going to talk about seasonal shows.
Yeah.
We're taking a hiatus for seasonal shows.
After the actual hiatus week where we don't talk at all, possibly, we may have hiatus week or two where we do Neon Genesis Evangelion and not talk about the airing shows until we've decided what we're going to watch.
Because I don't really see anything good.
Yeah.
That's not a sequel.
That's not a sequel. So we gotta let shit, work itself out and decide what we're gonna watch.
Exactamundo. So peace
So
out.
look forward to Neon Genesis Evangelion, and we'll see y'all in a week.